fight that took place the same night, right? Teofimo Lopez versus is it Steve Claggett?
Claggett. Steve Claggett. I don't know if his first name is. I'm unfamiliar with him up until this fight. So
okay, yeah, I'm not too familiar with his work either, but he fought tough. Yeah. Teo won the fight clearly. He didn't get a stoppage, but to me, boxing is not all about getting a stoppage, right? But I think Teo wanted the stoppage. He wanted to put on, he branded himself as the showman. He wanted to put on a show. And if you ask me, it was a relatively lackluster fight. You know what I mean? So, and this has been kind of a common theme with Teo, like lackluster. Oh, lackluster. Oh, you know what I mean? So it's like a roller coaster with Teofimo Lopez. But I think he came out and said that he's going to go to welterweight, like he's going to fight at 147. And I think he was eyeing to fight Terrence Crawford, who's now at 54. I think he said Terrence Crawford, not Jerron Boots Ennis, right? But now the name coming up is Brian Norman Jr. So do you buy Teofimo going to 147, or do you think he's just upset at the performance he put forth? So now he just kind of in one of those rants again.
That's a good question. Given his history, it could be, one of his rants for sure. I don't know. I do believe, because he's been mentioning Crawford's name for some time, so I know he wanted that fight, right? High risk, high reward, though. And if he loses, then it's like, okay, he was a smaller man coming up to fight Crawford, right? He had a cushion. So I think he really wanted that fight. Now with the Brian Norman, I mean, I think Norman can still be a tough fight for Teo, right? Because he can crack, he can punch. And he's just not a walk in the park, because you're moving up 7 pounds to fight the bigger man. But I do think Teo is still a special fighter. I think he's clearly more skilled. But to answer your question directly, I think it just might be talk, bro. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. I could see it being just talk as well. But I wonder if Teo is wondering where his power went. Because I'm not gonna lie, these guys are big. So even though when I see Teo, going into a fight and cutting weight, he doesn't look depleted like a Devin Haney per se.
Right.
He doesn't look depleted in that manner, but he's a big guy as well, and maybe he is behind the scenes having a bit of difficulties making weight, because I don't really understand the push to fight at 47 when, according to Teo, right, he's undisputed because no one beat Josh Taylor for undisputed. He beat, but we know he's not undisputed. So I'm not really sure if he's actually chasing the belt or not, but there's still work to hand out and be done at 140 if you want to, right? So what's the push to move on 147? That's what I'm trying to figure out. And I wonder, he just hasn't really, the pop hasn't seen the same at 140, which would lead me to be like, it's probably not going to be the same at 147, but maybe behind the scenes he feels depleted and he thinks he'll be stronger at that weight. I don't know. And then it'll come back. I'm not really sure, but you can kind of see he was in one of those states where it wasn't as bad as when he was saying, do I still got it? But it just seemed like even he was a bit disappointed with himself, especially his face was tagged up, marked up. You know what I mean? Like I said, he clearly won the fight. But I do think he's kind of asking himself some questions again. I think the Josh Taylor thing was more so about Josh Taylor not being who he once was.
Than it was Teo, probably, yeah.
That's what it's starting to age like now.
It's starting to look like that, especially if you account for Josh Taylor and how he looked against Catterall in that first robbery, which was crazy.
Even in the second fight, it was just
and in the second fight, we already knew Josh Taylor had no chance, especially losing to Teo and then losing to Catterall before that, right? So he's not the same fighter. And you're right, because his KO ratio significantly dropped. And it's not like he's fighting all elite fighters. You find fighters like Sandor Martin, Claggett. One thing that was impressive about the Claggett fight, though, was his output. His output really high. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't seen Teo throw that many punches in a long time. So his output was against a fighter that just walks forward, but it's odd because this is your style. You fight best on the back foot, and you couldn't really get the guy out of there. You know what I mean? And I get it. Not everything's about knockouts, but, hurt the guy, make it look easy. And the guy gave you a tough fight. Maybe we're underestimating Claggett because of our, ignorance. But, you ask most they'll probably say the same, you know.
Yeah, and another reason why I'm questioning, and like I said, maybe to him it's because he's like the lineal champion. He beat Josh Taylor, who no one took the belt from. But like 140 just feels like unfinished business. It like I feel like right now you cannot crown a guy as the guy at 140. That's why I feel like it's there for Tio to try and clean it up and prove that he is that guy. I know he's, and sometimes I don't know. Maybe he believes the things he says, maybe he does not. So that that may answer my own question to like why won't he just stay there and clean it up? Why he's trying to, you know what I mean? But I feel like 140 feels unfinished, right? You got the prospects out there. You got the guys who were supposed to be those guys. Regis got his belt taken. Devin is losing the belt, but he got beat in the ring. You know what I mean? Subriel Matias got beat. So it's like Gary Anton was supposed to be the next big thing, got beat. You know what I'm saying? So all these guys at 140 are supposed to be that guy. Richardson Hitches put on maybe a disappointing performance in his last win. You know what I mean? So all these guys who's supposed to have this division on lock, but I feel like it's wide open. You know what I'm saying? For all I know, Barroso might be the guy. you know what I don't know, but Pitbull Cruz came up there, snatched the belt. You know what I mean? So I just feel like the division is so wide open. Why wouldn't you stay and beat some of these guys and show like, yo,
you
still pretty young. You got time to go to 147. You know what I'm saying? But why I think it's telling is because you won't go to 147 for Boots, though. You know what I mean? So that means it's something else there. You know what I mean? And I'm not telling Tio to fight Boots. I don't want to see Tio fight Boots.
At all.
But I'm just saying, but you won't do that. So I'm just like, what is going on in your mind? I really wish I could know,
Yeah, and that's obvious. It's funny too, because he came out and oh no, Boots gotta fight but Norman Powell don't gotta fight someone. But Boots do.
Brian Norman.
No, I mean Brian Norman. I'm thinking of basketball.
Mo's over there like all light skin dudes look alike.
Yeah, all light. Nah, but seriously, I seen that interview. I was like, yo, come on, bro. I'm like, come on. Brian Norman don't have to fight anyone, but Boots do. That's what you're telling me. So that told me that it's more about just having a plan as opposed to just navigating. As opposed to kind of just being like, you know what, I got the goals to go and challenge the best guy, So
yeah. Do you think, because I'm not gonna lie, when Tio keep calling out Crawford, you know what it makes me think? You remember when Crawford and Gary Russell was getting into it, Crawford was like, yo, I'll break your neck. Like that's how I feel the outcome would be if Teofimo fought Terrence Crawford. Like Terrence Crawford might break his neck, right?
Yeah, I'm crying.
But do you think, like all jokes aside, like in Tio's head, do you think he's looking at like, yo, when I fought Loma, I performed like this, and I fought Josh Taylor, I performed like this? So do you think psychologically maybe he believes the higher the name, the bigger the fighter, the better I'm gonna be, and then Crawford can bring something out of me that can possibly.
Yeah, I think with Tio, and given, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like when Tio is underestimated, when he's coming in as the underdog, he usually overperforms, right? So I think in his mind, he's thinking, if he's the underdog going against Terrence Crawford, of course people have him losing, right? So if he fights Terrence Crawford, he's gonna up the scale. In his mind, he's gonna rise to the occasion. So yeah, I'll have to say that.
This might not be the right idea, though. I think Tio should stop. I think don't fight Terrence Crawford. I don't think Crawford's going to entertain him because there's really nothing in it for Crawford. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But yeah, I want Teofimo to stop that. I would say fight somebody else at 140. No need to. I would say go after the belts, right? So whatever's going to happen with Devin Haney's belt, maybe try to clean that up. Maybe unify with Isaac Pitbull Cruz, you know what I'm saying? Liam Paro now has a belt. Yeah. Just fight another champion or something, or maybe like a hot, big contender. Regis is gonna fight Jack Catterall, maybe, someone like that. You know what I mean? But there's business to handle at 140. I would say Tio just handle that. I don't think you could make 135 anymore for one of the big fights, But I would say just handle the business at 140. Some of those 135 guys might move up. You might be able to get a big cash out fight there as well,
Yeah, I agree. Well,
so in the comment section, tell us what you think about Tio. Is there a method behind the madness? Is it no madness at all? Am I just reading this incorrectly? do you want to see him move up from 140, or would you like him to stay at 140 and try to collect the rest of those belts? So even if he doesn't collect the belts, just knock off some of those other big names, even though Subriel took a loss, Subriel has been talking crazy, right? You know what I'm saying? I just feel like it's still guys there for him to fight. Do you want to see him fight those guys? Make sure you jump in the comment section, like, and subscribe.